Okay, we're now joined by Jimmie Johnson. Jimmie, you have had 7 top 10s in the last 8 races, and you have 3 wins here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Tell us about how you feel this weekend.
Yeah, we've had great cars, and things have been building through the course of the year, and we've got a lot of speed in our race cars. So, happy to have so many top 10s and the 3 wins, and coming to a track that's really important. Obviously, this track's in the Chase. We felt it was important enough for Hendrick Motorsports that we came up here and tested. So, we're definitely excited to be here and hope that the things we learned through our test session up here, although we did have some weather that we're kind of dealing with, that we're able to advance and have fast race cars run off the truck today.
All right, we'll open up for questions. Raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start with Dustin. We'll go to Nate.
Dustin Long, MRN.com. Jimmie, in light of last week's race, not being able to go the distance, obviously in the Chase, there are elimination races. 2 of the 3 elimination races are tracks that do not have lights. Does NASCAR need to look at putting more emphasis on trying to finish a chase race or an elimination race, regardless how long it takes, or is, hey, once the race reaches halfway, that's fine because everybody knows what the rule is?
Man, I was already in North Carolina, so I don't know how things looked at the end of that race. But, the races, my memory is saying the rained out events that I have been a part of, that we all knew it was going to keep raining. And we've all fought the battle for days, and, there wasn't an opportunity to go back racing. So I don't know if that was what happened in Daytona or not, but, NASCAR, of anybody understands the importance of letting the racing take care of itself and letting the race win or a championship happen on the racetrack and not due to weather. So, my reaction's been they've always fought hard to get the race distance in and to do the right thing in each moment.
All right, we'll go to Nate, Kenny, then Claire and Mark.
Nate Ryan, USA Today Sports. Jimmie, going back to that test here, the Team Penske cars, Brad and Joey have both talked about the fact that they got locked in early. They're saving their test for the Chase. I know this track is in the Chase, but I would think it would behoove you to test closer to the race to be able to get better information. What was the Hendrick motivation to burn a test here? Was it that Casey doesn't have a win yet, or is there stuff here that can translate to other tracks? I guess just the thinking of not saving all 4 for the Chase, knowing you've already got 3 cars in the championship.
Yeah, it really was Chase focused. I think there are multiple factors the team looks at in picking the 4 tracks you go to. Obviously, if you lock in early, that helps your strategy, and you can look more towards the end of the year. But something teams also look at is, where are we weakest as an organization? Where do we, as the 4 crew chiefs and drivers, say we get most frustrated at and scratch our head the most at? And I have to think here is probably one of the, especially Chase-related racetracks, this is one of them for us. So, that's why the decision was made. As a group, all 4 drivers and crew chiefs were like, yeah, let's go to Loudon. We need to work there. What we do work on and learn here can apply to Phoenix. If you're looking at Chase-related tracks, sometimes what you learn here can help you at Richmond, which can also help us in the regular season with another event there. So it was more about the group collectively saying, out of Chase tracks, this is our weakest Chase track.
Kenny Bruce, NASCAR.com. Jimmie, along those lines, given that you have 3 wins, and given that this is the second race, this will be the second race in the Chase when you come back, what do you look to accomplish on Sunday? Is it anything different because of those facts?
Yeah, for us, we hope that we worked through all the little details, and when we get on the track today, we're able to be in the top 5 in speed, qualify in the top 5, and have track position working on our side from the start of the race. This is a short event, and if you can have track position at the start and maintain it, it can set you up for a little different fuel strategy, tire strategy, and just make life so much easier. So honestly, in the afternoon, in the afternoon today, we'll know if things went well and if we're setting up how we want for the rest of the weekend.
Are you being more focused on September than you normally would be if you were racing, say, at Michigan this weekend, as opposed to? Because you won't be going back there if you are going back.
Yeah, from that perspective, absolutely. Yes, notes. understanding what the track does, all of that. Yeah, when you compete at an event that you know is in the chase, we work hard at all of them, but there seems to be an extra little step up in paying attention to the fine details.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. When you're a student of various tracks and you're really good at describing what it was like to learn them, how was it that you learned this track when you first came to New Hampshire, which is a tricky track?
Yeah, there are points in time where I feel like I've had this track under control and other times that I don't. And I think it speaks to, the car setup and how important it is here. You just can't say it's the car's fault because the driver and crew chief are responsible for how that car acts and responds. But there are times that we've just had it. And when you have a good driving car here, you can make stuff happen. And that's what makes this place fun. On the flip side, if you're off, it's a flat racetrack, it's a small track, you're in the way. It can be such a frustrating track if you're off. And I think we won 1 year back-to-back here. I had so much fun around here. So the opportunity is there to have a lot of fun.
Go to Mark.
Mark Garrow, PRN. Make sure I'm asking this question for somebody else right. You went through at the beginning of the season, everybody talking about what's wrong with the 48, guys can't win. Obviously that changed around. Matt Kenseth is now still in that situation. If he asked you, what kind of advice would you give him to get through his situation like you guys got through yours?
I don't know if I want to give Matt any advice. It's pretty damn good. Just generally speaking, it doesn't take much for it to shift and change, and I can say that the 20's been on the right side of the scoring, the computer sheet, the monitors that we look at on the left side. They've had speed, they've been up front. It's coming, and it doesn't take much just to have that crossover center and have it work for it. And I think our team is proof of that earlier this year, but I'm not counting them out. Even though they haven't been to victory lane yet, I feel that they're going to make it into the chase. And with chase being 10 weeks long, it's still a long period of time to find your way and get going. So I'm not counting those guys out.
Steve Richards, the PRN. Off weekend coming up, is it one you want to see or not want to see because you guys have been it's been so good lately?
Yeah, I'm happy to see it. I think we could use 6 or 7 more of them. I think everybody in the room would agree. Get down to a 25 race schedule or something, more weekends off. It'd be awesome. So I'm excited. Even if we were winning and didn't want it to stop from that momentum standpoint, and I can't wait to chill out with the family and relax.
So what are you going to do? Do you have plans?
As little as possible. As little as possible.
Doug Rice, PRN. Congrats on your off weekend, by the way. Jimmy, a lot of surprise through the NASCAR world when it was announced about the Race Team Alliance earlier this week. A, were you surprised? And B, what's Jimmie Johnson's reaction to this?
I'm excited for the teams and the opportunity that they have to work together and hopefully drive costs down and have a more clear and concise voice in the industry on a variety of aspects, not only to NASCAR, but across the board. So we'll see where things go. It's obviously very new, but I'm happy that the teams are working together to drive costs down. It's a very expensive sport, and I'm fortunate to drive at Hendrick Motorsports and have the best of any situation, and it's still tough and it's still lean, and hopefully we're able to have all the stakeholders strengthen their positions and make our sport stronger.
Jimmy, Alan Butzels from the Union Leader. Last year at this race, Brian Vickers won, and you and several other drivers, probably a lot of other drivers, are very excited about that, just for what he'd gone through. Can you take us back through that and kind of the emotion of that weekend?
Yeah, Brian's dealt with a lot of, has overcome a lot of issues that many drivers never will go through or have to step out of the seat due to injury and for a long period of time, and then try to come back into the sport, find your way, find a team, find a sponsor, get it going again. It's so difficult, and knowing him as I do, I think it's helped him see the world in a different light, see our industry in a different light, and have a stronger passion for our sport. So when he went to Victory Lane last year, I know that it meant far more to him than a traditional win would, from climbing the mountain. And he's been up that mountain a couple times now. So he's done a nice job with it.
Nate?
Following up on Doug's question, Jimmy, did Rick tell you or give you guys a heads up, you and the other drivers, Hendrick drivers, about the RTA? And is it something that you guys will be monitoring in the future, or do drivers just sort of do their own thing and however that plays out happens?
No, everybody's paying attention for sure. We were briefed on it the beginning of the week that the announcement would be coming out, and that was the first that I had heard of it. But absolutely, I think there are a lot of people. Doesn't matter if you're an owner, or driver, NASCAR, or a fan. Everybody wants to see the sport succeed and grow, and everybody's paying attention to whatever alliances may be put together, or opinions that someone may have, or the direction NASCAR wants to take things in. I mean, absolutely, I love this sport and want the best for it, and paying attention to what others do that care for this sport as well.
Any more questions for Jimmy? Mark? Oh, Dustin.
Dustin along MRN, just to follow it up, there will be those people who will be worried that the RTA could create a split. So why should people not be worried about this creating a division? NASCAR's point is that they've talked to people in the garage already. So some people say this is something that could lead to a more divisive issue. So why should or should they not see that way?
Yeah, I just think it's human nature for some to worry. I mean, it doesn't matter what the topic is. A third probably care, a third don't care, and a third are mad. And it doesn't matter what the topic is. So I just don't see any downside in the owners working closer together and sharing what's important to them, what's important to them to run their business, to run a successful business, and to be able to put a race car in the field each week. I don't see anything wrong with that. And that environment is there today. It's far looser structure than it's been, and now hopefully it's going in a direction where there can be a more common and clear voice. If it's within our own industry, from a team owner side, if it's directed towards NASCAR, directed towards licensed merchandising, a variety of angles. I mean, this could be beneficial in a lot of ways to have a clear voice instead of, I was over at Hendrick and I heard this, and I was at Roush and I heard that, and I was at Penske and heard something altogether different. For everybody to be together on all topics, I don't think there's any downside in being organized.
So does that mean the drivers should be next then? Because you talk about car owners, one will say this, one will say this, and now it's a more unified voice. Could you just, instead of saying car owners, could you say drivers? And do drivers there to get together?
Yeah, that opportunity is definitely there. I don't know where others stand and feel with it. I haven't put any thought into it myself. I guess, in some ways, Pandora's box has been open with this topic and discussion, and we'll see where it leads. But, again, the way I see this is, everybody cares for our sport, and people are trying to be more organized to help lead and direct our sport in all ways. So, we'll see what the future holds, and I feel like there is a positive outcome. This is a good thing. I don't feel like this is going to drive separation or a split. And I don't even know where that separation or split would take place. I mean, the things that have been discussed through the RTA, it's all about saving costs and can we do something? It's all about driving costs down. So I don't see how that's a bad thing. If I know the conversation is owners against NASCAR, but NASCAR is trying to help bring costs down, and so is the RTA. So I think everybody's working in the same direction.
All right, we'll finish up with Mark.
Mark Arrow, PRN. Jimmy, just looking ahead to Indianapolis, do you circle that on the calendar still as like, okay, that's one of those must-wins, no matter what your circumstances are, chase-wise, points-wise, whatever, but is that still circled on the calendar? What kind of race do you expect this year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Daytona in Indy, everybody is going to risk it all for those two events. And I'm excited because for a long stretch now, we've been able to go there and get it right and be competitive. And for the longest time, the responsibility in the fall fell on my shoulders. I wouldn't drive the car right until we got in the race. Spent 2 or 3 days of setting the car up, drive it wrong, and then get in the race. I'm like, oh, wow. I've been doing it wrong. And we need to go behind pit wall and change springs and all kinds of other things to get this thing right for the race. So now I unload there and I understand how to drive the track, and I'm able to get us in that window to be competitive.
All right, Jimmy, thanks for the time, and good luck this weekend.
end of the year, say one of the first things, reduce schedule.